Hi, welcome to this recording we're doing with Rachel here. Rachel, she is from Philippines and we're shooting this in KL, and she's now in KL, by the way, meeting some clients over here. And she is Rachel. She is the assistant manager handling the international sales from Rockwell, Philippines. It's a very big developer over there. And today's we are going to talk about investing in Philippines and what is the uh, information you are going to bring to us today, Rachel?
Okay, so it will be actually just an overview of the industry.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to show you some slides here, which we presented in front of a crowd the first time we went here in KL. So this was actually done by our Colliers International executive. And
Mm-hmm.
this is third-party research that I would like to share with you. It's very preliminary for someone looking into the Philippines to know basically the big picture of what's going on in our residential property market.
Yeah, nice. Let's do it.
Okay, so just for the outline of this few slides that I'll be showing. So we'll show you a bit of the economic fundamentals. We'll show you the regional investment context and relative to our country now, and then a bit of the residential market, and then where are we in the property cycle, and considerations, and of course, investing into property, especially overseas property investments. So if you're looking at this slide, actually it tells you about the growth of the Philippines. Right
Mm-hmm.
now, we have a lot of growth factors. Our population is nearing 100 million, and we're a very productive population now. Our GDP growth has been very fast relative to our neighboring countries,
Mm-hmm.
and our GDP per capita has been increasing as well. So this is increasing consumer spending. It's also definitely pushing up uh, purchasing power, which would include buying into property and buying into investments. And you can see relative to our neighboring countries, we're actually, last year, we were the second fastest growing economy in this region. And this year, we remain to be very competitive as well. So what are the economic drivers? You can see consumer spending has been on an upswing. So of course, this is being pushed by overseas Filipino worker remittances, which you can see it's about 22.8 billion. Um, it's nearly 10% of our gross domestic product. And then you can see the BPO center. So BPO is actually a business process outsourcing. So these would be your call centers, your the service call service centers, which are actually growing. It's a growing market in Manila. It's ranked third already, just after Bangalore and Mumbai. So we're
Wow.
just competing with India now in terms of this industry. And then we have been experiencing an increase in tourism. So due to our It's More Fun in the Philippines campaign, which is being actively promoted, not just within Asia, but all the way to European countries and to the Western region of the world. And
Okay,
then you
good.
can see, as a result of stable economy, stable government, we have been receiving investment rating upgrades. So you can see how we are faring against um, our neighboring countries. But definitely, as the economy continues to grow and our government policies remain stable, we are actually expected to continue to be upgraded into higher levels.
Yeah,
And
nice.
then just to give you a comparison about residential prices in the region, we're still, given all of this growth in our country, we still remain relatively affordable. So if you're looking at investing, say, into Hong Kong or Singapore, clearly it's very, very expensive already. And this is in US dollars per square meter. So you can see that Philippines is about 3,000. This is on the high side actually, but it's quite comparable to Malaysian property.
Mm-mm.
But of course, the growth potential right now in the Philippines is seen to be a lot. And then you can see here the prices of the top end developments, which is we're looking at this industry because Rockwell Land is actually a high end developer. So comparatively, a Rockwell high end property would be a lot more affordable than many of the expensive property around the world.
Mm-hmm.
And yet, given this affordability, you can see that we actually have the highest residential yield in the region. So this is at 7.53 on average percentage. And comparing it, say, to Malaysia, which is now about 4.5%
When you're saying this residential yield, it means the rental yield from the residential
on
properties. That's
rental.
what you mean,
Yes,
right?
on
Okay.
rental yield.
So
Yes,
seven point five
correct.
three is like higher than Indonesia, Thailand, like most of the
Yes,
countries in
it's
Southeast
higher
Asia.
than correct, correct. And
Okay.
of course, it's nice to know this because Malaysia is within the same region. So still you're investing in overseas property, but then you're not really investing out of the region. So it will be familiar territory for you, for those who are more conservative about actually putting money outside of their country.
Yeah.
Malaysia is and the Philippines are not very far away from each other.
Okay.
And then you have in terms of our property indices. So we have been experiencing steady growth. You can see here, as shown in the graph. And in terms of prime residential locations in the Philippines, we have three actually. We have Rockwell, we have Makati Central Business District, but Rockwell is actually a township development within the Makati Central Business District. So, but Colliers, because of our performance, very good performance as a township, they actually track our returns separately just to highlight or to see what the trend is in that specific area. The third area would be Fort Bonifacio. So it's mapped out here. You can see in the map.
Yeah. So the
For
yield is
Rockwell
like
residential
7 point
supply,
something. I can see that. Uh, the yield, the residential yield,
yes,
average yield, right?
yes, you can see average
Mm.
yield would be 7.5%. And we're only looking at 3,718 units across. Now the property is 19.1 hectares. So it's 15 hectares, which is constructed. And then for the another 3.6 hectares is actually being developed right now. So we're already nearing 19 hectares. And yet you can see that we only have 3,718 units in that area. Compare it to, of course, the CBD area is roughly about 200 hectares, but it's very much more dense. So in terms of the number of units, you're facing more competition. That's why the yields or the values of Rockwell have been higher than the rest of the CBD is because it's an enclosed township. So it's actually like going into a village of landed houses. That's the concept of Rockwell. And having this enclosure of about 3,700 units makes it more exclusive. And in a way, if you own a property here, you're not really competing with other developers or other developed condos with different tiers. It's a homogeneous sort of development wherein the whole 15 hectares is high end. Of course, if you're in an area that is not enclosed, then the CBD area would have high end towers built next to a mid end, built next to low end, right on the same street. So that's where the competition or the average prices would definitely be flatter because of the wider range of units that are there in the same market.
So I got what you mean is when you're talking about Rockwell community because you're building a township over there, so it's
Yes.
easier for you to control the kind of like residents that's going
Correct,
to
correct.
stay
And
there, right?
also because we do it in a way, we're not only focused on selling the units to the market, we also manage the units when it's finished. So in terms of management, Rockwell has its own property management corporation. So we handle the maintenance of the buildings. And not only that, we also handle the leasing services. So meaning it's really put into place. We have leasing offices established in the buildings that makes it easier for freelance or licensed brokers to walk in and find unit inventory for direct clients or tenants to just come into our office and say, I want to view units that are available here. So this leasing in Rockwell is actually well organized, and it's very easy to it makes it makes it very convenient for our tenants and for the brokers to coordinate with our company with regards to this. So, given this, we are also the ones to actually uh, prescribe the price of rental in a way, and we are able to control the transactions.
Yeah, I can see
So
from
the same
the
is true.
chart just now. Yeah, you have showing that even though your
Yes.
pricing of the property in Rockwell is selling like slightly more expensive than the other area, right?
Yes.
But the rental yield is still getting higher, so that means the rentals in absolute term, I mean in absolute pesos, if counted it that way, it is higher than the rest of the places in Manila, right?
Yes, correct. And what's actually more important is not only the prices at which these units are being transacted. I think as an investor, it's very important to look at the vacancy rate.
Yep.
So if you look at the red line on this graph, actually, it shows you the vacancy rate. And what's very telling about this is Rockwell is actually able not only rent your units at a good price, but it's also able to rent out almost all of our units, or in the sense also we are very much occupied. It's not a ghost town. We're about 97% occupied, and this is actually the best in comparing the three districts, the two
Yeah.
districts that I pointed out earlier.
Yeah.
So having a very low vacancy rate just means that at any given time there is low supply in the area, and this, of course, with supply and demand, lower supply and increasing demand will always push prices higher. So that the same is true whether you buy the unit or you rent it out.
Okay.
So I think the key thing here is really that because we are the only one developing the area, we control the introduction of inventory, and the how we have delivered the 3,718 units that we currently have now is actually in very it's with good timing. We don't release 1,000 units all at the same time. We only come up, say, with one tower at any given time, and then we sell a significant part of it before or sometimes we sell it out even before we launch a new tower or a new project in the area. So at any given time, you can't really buy so many units in the same area. It's always limited.
Yeah,
So
I
that
can
has been
see.
key into keeping our returns high and our vacancy rates very low.
Okay,
So
good. So
compare it
you,
just
so I guess it's managed
to
well, right? Yeah, I get what you
yes,
mean.
it's really in the management, which spells the difference compared to, say, in the CBD or in the Central Business District area where there are so many developers. You can see that the vacancy rate is up at about eight over 8%. So definitely, because here there are more developers delivering units at the same time. So say if there is about current stock now is 17,000, and in just next year we're delivering, that area will have 1,000 more. So in terms of the increase in supply, definitely it's faster at a faster rate, and it's also mixed in terms of the quality. So it's not really high. We wouldn't know if it's all high end, more low cost, more mid end at any given time. So this flattens your averages.
Yeah. Okay.
For
Good.
for the fourth, you're also looking at the same. It's about 8% in vacancy rate. So current stock is 17,000, and and in the next, well, by this year, we're end of this year we would have about 2,800 more. So growth in supply seems to be is evidently faster.
Okay.
So why choose the residential sector? It's just if you can see, it's a good diversification of your portfolio if you're already invested into other instruments like the money market, maybe, or of course, because it's less volatility. And then you
Mm-hmm.
have the capital appreciation, which is seen to be very stable and good growth. So it has been growing 7% per on the average. This is across the whole industry per annum since 2003. Of course, apart from that, holding on to that value, there's also rental growth. So you can see that apartment rents have been increasing at about 8% per annum since 2003 as well.
Yeah.
So just a slide to show you the volatility. Of course, this is comparing it to the Philippine Equity Index. So, in
Mm-hmm.
terms of even through a financial crisis, you can see that the drop hasn't been as bad for apartment prices
Mm-hmm.
relative to, of course, if you have invested your money in stocks and you have experienced a roller coaster in terms of
Yeah.
your returns. So, but for if you're holding on to property, then actually it wouldn't have been that bad. Of course,
Mm-hmm.
high risk, high return, but definitely that's why I'm saying that it's good to hold property because at the end of the day, it's still asset that you're holding onto. It's not just a money market where you can actually lose the value of your money.
Yeah.
Capital appreciation as well. So you can see here, actually, another telling thing would be Rockwell, would be the red line here, and it's higher in terms of capital appreciation since 2004. So it's been more than 10 years. We have been commanding the highest capital appreciation relative to the two other mentioned districts, which are the main areas in Manila.
Mm-hmm.
Rental growth as well. Same story for Rockwell. And that again, this goes back to being the single developer in one area and then closing a township. So we command the rental, we command the capital appreciation as well. And then for yields, you can see it's still we're also the highest in terms of the yields, and it has been on a steady trend.
Yeah. It's hover arounding of 7.5 to 8.5. That's what I see.
Correct. 7.5 to 8.5.
Mm-hmm.
So considerations in property investment, of course, especially when you are buying into overseas property, it's very important to know to be in the right location. This will lower your risk and ensure your returns will be satisfying.
Mm-hmm.
Rental prospects, always look for strong rental, meaning uh, not just look at the transaction prices, but more importantly, look at the vacancy rates. Because what's the point of having high rental if no one is actually taking up the rent?
Yeah.
And then, of course, look at the developer track record. See the past projects. No, don't just look at the quality of the planned development, but actually go have study, have some studies on the existing projects and how they're actually doing right now. And then, of course, with price, don't compromise the quality. Buy the best that you can afford, and given all of the three considerations above. So that's actually the end. It was a very brief
Mm-hmm.
slide deck that was given to us by Colliers, and we shared this about 3 months ago in KL as well.
Wow. So just want to know the source of
Yes.
Colliers International. Do they like specialize in doing a property market survey?
Yes,
What's their business?
they're actually property. I would say they have different arms. They
Yeah.
do valuation, property
Mm-hmm.
valuation. They do um,
Mm-hmm.
brokerages as well.
Mm-hmm.
They transact with developers and they help developers sell projects. They also do research, so such as what we have shown you. They come up with industry reports particular to the real estate industry and they're across the region. Actually, we have flown, the person who presented this, we flew him from Hong Kong because he is based in Hong Kong. And we flew him from Hong Kong to KL to do this presentation. This is also similar to JLL. JLL has recently opened its office here in KL as well. So these are like third-party uh, real estate companies that are working with developers, consulting, doing consultancy jobs, helping move projects as well sometimes, in some cases for brokerages. They also handle lease transactions. They also do property valuation and all sorts of real estate services.
Great, that's nice. So, I got to know that Rockwell's, since you already have right the existing supplies that's like 3,700 over units, right?
Mm-hmm.
And currently
Yes.
you're launching the proscenium. How many units
Yes.
there will be? Like, when will you
So
be
proscenium
done?
is just going to be about 1,000, and it will be completed in 5 years' time. So that just means that in the next 5 years, we won't really have any new um, supply in the market. So that builds anticipation based on experience.
Yeah.
Because the last project we delivered was this year. So that was just 400 units. And prior to that, we didn't have any new inventory for 3 years. And that really built the demand and the anticipation for the 400 units to be finished was when they were finally seeing that there's new stock again in Rockwell. Um, Tenants are inquiring about it, and the secondary market has been very active. So we're expecting the same, of course. If in the next 5 years we don't have anything new in Rockwell Center, then once the proscenium actually starts, going up and getting completed, then it becomes a very new district in that area, which people have been a long awaited new addition to the community.
Yeah, good. So I think that the proscenium will be the last phase of the Rockwell community, isn't it? It's like the last piece of
Yes, it
land.
will be the last phase. It
Oh,
will be the last phase. Let me show you.
yeah, maybe you have some presentation on that.
So that's actually because this one is the longer version of what I've earlier
Yeah.
presented. But just to move to Rockwell, okay. So, okay, this is actually, you can see here, residents in Rockwell centers, about 51% is the expat community. So we have a very strong hold of foreign tenants. Of course, because of exclusivity, they have been valuing exclusivity, and once you actually attract foreign population in your community, it just continues to grow because, of course, they want to congregate in one area.
Yeah.
It's nice to arrive in a country and go to where the people are already living.
Yeah.
So just to give you an idea on proscenium, okay, let's move forward with the master plan. So if you're looking at the master plan, this is actually the whole 19-hectare development. We started in 1999 with the West Block. This is actually four residential towers called Hidalgo Place, Rizal Tower, Luna Gardens, and Amarsola Square. It also is the home of the Rockwell Club. So some photos here, you can see the Rockwell Club. It's the first leisure club within a master plan mixed-use community. So this really set Rockwell 15 years ago, 18 years ago. It set Rockwell apart from all the other areas, residential areas, because we actually thought of putting a city club within our residences, and it made it the choice, the preferred address of affluent people living in Manila.
Okay.
And then, of course, we also have other institutional uh, buildings, such as the Ateneo Professional Schools. This is actually a graduate business and law school. And then we have the Nestle headquarters. And FINMA would be another office building. So you can see here, Nestle, of course, is the Swiss company. This is their headquarters. And then FINMA would be construction conglomerate, whereas the Ateneo is actually one of the top universities in our country.
Mm-hmm.
There. This is actually a typo. It's around 2,500 students.
Students, and they all
Yes,
stay within
2,500.
the Rockwell community, right? So most of
A
them are the
significant number of
tenants.
them,
Most of them are the
yes, a
most of them the
significant,
students will be
correct.
renting one of the place out of that
Yes,
3,700 units you
because
have.
the law school is 5 years, and
Mm-hmm.
usually a lot of people, because it's one of the top schools, people who are not from Manila, they actually go to Manila just to study law or to study their MBA there. So definitely they would have to rent a unit. That's why we get a significant number of these students renting our studio units, our single occupancy units in Rockwell, because it's the closest community that they can have access to, and they can just walk to school every day.
Nice.
We have the power plant mall. This is about 65,000 square meters of um, retail space,
Mm-hmm.
and you have just some of the locators that we have there. A lot of international brands. We have
Mm-hmm.
over 300 establishments. So you can compare this to, say, Pavilion, the Gardens at Mid Valley.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So in terms of the kind of shops that you can see inside. So we have been pioneering the high-end retail experience. On top of the mall, we have six state-of-the-art cinemas as well. And we actually were the first to introduce reserved seating in the Philippines.
Wow.
Yeah. And then we have, of course, the Manansala. This is we address the younger affluent market who are looking for smaller and more diverse units. So we have the picture of actual photo here. And then we also have the Hoya lofts and towers. So we pioneered loft living in a high-rise um,
Mm-hmm.
tower. So you can see a photo here of the loft unit
Mm-hmm.
with the high ceiling.
Okay,
And
nice.
then one Rockwell was completed in 2011. So here we pioneered the Z lofts. So the Z lofts actually have opposing views because the second floor, the higher level, spans the width of the building. So then you would have opposing views of east and west or north and south. Very interesting, which we were able to
Oh,
sell a lot of these units.
wow.
And then we have the recent addition, which is Edades Tower. So
Mm-hmm.
this is the interior of Edades. You can see here a photo, a picture of the lobby. It's very it's very luxurious and
Yeah.
modern at the same time. And within Edades, we actually have the Aruga Service Apartments. So this launched the Hotel and Leisure Management Corporation of Rockwell.
Mm-hmm.
So Proscenium, we move to now what we are promising to deliver in beginning 2018. So we have the first three residential towers, Kirov, Sakura, and Lincoln. And then we have Lorraine, the fourth residential tower, which we have recently launched in KL. And of course, the Proscenium office tower. So it will be the first high-rise office in Rockwell Center. And it will be the first time also that we are selling a few limited number of office units. So Lorraine provides, of course, lifestyle and luxury and convenience. And we have unit cuts ranging from studios to three-bedroom units.
So I see that Lorraine is
But
actually the last building you'll be building, right? In Proscenium,
yes,
is it?
yes. The first three
So after
towers,
Lorraine, you don't have any more supplies.
yes, no
Okay.
residential, correct, correct. Will be the last. And
Okay.
then for Proscenium Office Tower, so it's poised to be, of course, one of the most high-end office towers in Makati. And it will feature, of course, it will be environmental friendly, a green building. And then it will have a penthouse restaurant, a fully equipped gym, and a wellness center. So here are some of the pictures of our actual model unit. We have a model unit in Manila for the proscenium. So you can see how we are actually creating a very good, like modern and luxurious space. And then in the proscenium as well, one of the unique features would be a 600-seater performing arts theater right in front of the development,
Mm-hmm.
and it will be complemented with the retail area. So an alfresco outdoor concept of a
Yeah.
retail area. And then we have allocated more than a hectare. So that's over one-third of the property is actually dedicated for the amenities. So we have an amenity deck that links all the four residential towers. And of course, we will have indoor facilities as well. So basically, that's a very brief overview of the
Yeah.
project. And
Mm-hmm.
we are presenting Proscenium as the greatest Rockwell yet. So it being the last addition to the community, we want to make it the most outstanding,
Mm-hmm.
basically.
So it's like a
And
grand finale like that, right? For the whole
yes, correct,
project.
exactly.
Okay.
If it were a show, it would be the grand finale,
Yeah.
correct?
And I'm
There.
curious about this. Since Rockwell's the properties gaining
Mm-hmm.
so high yields compared to the other area,
Yes.
and it's like I think it's the cream of the cream in Manila in Philippines. I would say the whole right, and
Yes.
logically it's supposed to be like step up in a second when if you're launching the unit to even to the locals. This is what I think. So why do you market it overseas, like to Malaysians, to Singapore as well?
Actually, the for the how we formed the international team for Rockwell is by demand.
Mm.
We brought the project closer, the community closer to first to Singapore, Japan, and then gradually to Malaysia. How it happened is because we noticed that because we have a sales gallery in Manila, and we noticed that our walk-ins, we would get walk-ins who are uh, Singaporeans in Manila for business,
Mm-hmm.
and they're walking in actually asking about our projects.
Oh.
So we started looking at this trend, and we when we began closing sales in Manila to Singaporeans, to Japanese,
Mm-hmm.
and then but Malaysia, because Malaysia eventually came from our Singapore network. So first the Singaporeans, we noticed that they would actually buy
Mm-hmm.
the units. So we asked them where the clamor is coming from, and basically, of course, it's because of the slowing down of their residential real estate market there,
Mm-hmm.
that's pushing them to, and all the good news that they've been hearing about the Philippines.
Mm-hmm.
Since they're coming to Manila, they look for property already. So that's how we saw the need to actually come up with an international team to go to the country and to actually do meetings there, and to actually bring the project closer to the investor. It wasn't really like, oh, we need to build this project to sell it overseas. It became like an organic transition towards that. And just to give you um, an idea on the how strong our local market is, actually 80% of our sales are still being taken up by the local buyers.
Locals. Oh.
So I think this is a very good indication, and it shows you how strong the purchasing power is of the Filipinos
Mm-hmm.
themselves. So this is not a project that is created for foreigners to just dump their money
Yeah.
in. It's really a real there's real value, and the price is based on real supply and demand, not really just people buying it up just to put money there, foreign money there.
So is there like a regulation or quota or something that like restrict the take up rate of foreigners in a certain project? Is there something like this?
Actually, right now the government isn't restricting
Mm-mm.
the ownership of Filipinos, of foreigners
Yeah.
in the Philippines. It has been existing that foreigners can only buy strata title or condominiums.
Mm-mm.
So that has been existing ever since. And with regards to capping the ownership of any tower to 40% foreign ownership, it's actually been a long established law. So we haven't really seen any move by the government to cut or to curb the take up by foreigners. I think also because at this point there's really no need to, given
Mm-mm.
that if you look at the numbers, there's very strong
Local demand.
purchasing and yes, demand from the local market. So there's really no point to curb it at this point.
Okay, nice. So thanks for all the information. So
Yeah.
I guess
Thank
it's
you.
just some limited unit left in Lorraine, right?
Yes, and
S-
actually,
mm-mm,
while because we come here to KL often,
mm-mm.
and we actually also will be including some contact points or contact details through this website. So we would be glad to meet more of the people who are interested to know about the Philippines and the residential market. So I think it's high time to, given also some government measures here in Malaysia,
Yeah.
it's high time to consider overseas property at this point. And of
Okay.
course, Philippines is still affordable, and it's still, in terms of the performance, you can see the yields, it's actually doing very, very well. So it's worth the consideration.
That is true. That is kind of hard to find like more than 7% rental yield over
Yeah,
here in
exactly.
Malaysia.
Exactly.
So for those who
Correct.
are listening, if you are interested, just fill up the information under the form below this video, and I'll hook you up with the marketing team from Rockwell. So we will keep in touch.
Yes.
Thanks, Rachel, for
Yes.
this interview.
Thank you very much. Have a good day.
You too. Bye bye.
Bye.